I thank the gentleman for yielding. I was tempted to stop at that podium. One of my Republican predecessors used to come over here a long time ago and speak to Democrats from this podium and then walk back and speak to his Republican colleagues. This is truly something that both podiums support. It is a bipartisan effort. I was privileged to work with Congressman Comstock's predecessor, Frank Wolf, and we worked arm in arm, hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder for a decade with Republican administrations, both the Reagan administration and with the Bush administration, the first Bush administration. And this truly is a bipartisan effort to enhance America's subway. I say America's subway because not only do our people use it that live in the region, but millions of Americans who come to Washington, D.C. to see their capital use their metro system. I'm proud to be the sponsor of this resolution, and I urge my colleagues to support it. People throughout the National Capital Region depend upon Metro to get to work, reach family and friends, and access shopping and entertainment, as so many of my colleagues have already said. It's the lifeblood of the area's economy. Nobody probably knows that better than Jerry Connolly, who was the head of one of the largest subdivisions in our region and knows how critically important Metro is to our region. Metro, I've referred to it as the ties that bind the Washington metropolitan area together. It is used by millions of visitors to our nation's capital who come from across the country. It is critical to the functioning of our federal government, with federal employees making up nearly 40% of its ridership. They and many military personnel rely on Metro to get to their offices and duty stations on time so they can serve the American people. As anyone who spends time in this city knows, Metro has had its share of challenges, including, of course, safety issues that have prompted an ambitious overhaul of safety procedure and infrastructure, which was absolutely necessary and too long in coming. Safety must continue to be Metro's #1 priority, both for its passengers and for its employees. Our resolution, Mr. Speaker, when I refer to our, the entire metropolitan delegation, would provide a congressional consent for the establishment of a Metro Safety Commission. Ms. Comstock spoke of that, Mr. Raskin has spoken of that, and I'm sure others will as well, which will provide real enforcement teeth to our region's commitment to enhancing Metro safety. The Safety Commission is being launched jointly by Congress, Maryland, Virginia, and the District of Columbia. I want to thank Mrs. Norton, who herself has worked so long and so effectively on behalf of Washington Metro's system. Thank you very much, Congresswoman Norton. The Federal Transit Administration is currently withholding approximately $8.9 million, which Ms. Comstock referred to. This step will be a significant step in making sure that that $8.9 million is released. Maryland, Virginia, and D.C. have all given their approval already. The Virginia legislature, the Maryland legislature, and the D.C. Council. The D.C. legislature. Now it's up to Congress. But today's resolution is not an end. It is an important step, but not an end. It must signal an ongoing commitment across the region to Metro, and yes, by the Congress itself. I believe that if Metro is to become safer and more reliable, it must have a dedicated funding source. That's not the issue in this resolution, but it is the issue before Metro and our region and before our country. That's why I will continue to push for more federal investment in Metro and for WMATA to have every resource it needs to keep its riders and employees safe, which is to say all of the American people who use it on their visits here, as well as those of us who live here. I want to thank each of the members of our delegation, our regional delegation, which works together on behalf of the region. And I want to thank in particular Senator Tim Kaine from Virginia, who sponsored this legislation on the Senate side. We have all been working hard to ensure this resolution comes to the floor and to make sure all stakeholders have been at the table. And I thank my delegation, the regional delegation, And I thank Mr. Goodlatte for bringing this resolution to the floor in a timely fashion. And I thank certainly one of our newest members, but one of our most able members, Mr. Raskin. And I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman from